Tottenham Hotspur and Real Madrid just played out one of the best games I've seen in a long time. And before I actually get started talking about the game, I want to say two things. Number one, I will never, ever, ever, ever watch another Tottenham game on Fox Deportes ever again. It was the worst commentated game probably I've ever watched. Not only, I don't know if it was just, it had to be a mixture of they had no idea what they were talking about in terms of Tottenham, and they were incredibly biased towards Real Madrid. They were just saying, first of all, they were getting Aurier and Sissoko confused. They kept calling one the other one. I know they both played on the right side, and they're both black, but they're not the same person. It's a little bit more than embarrassing. Second of all, they kept saying really their facts were just plain wrong. They kept saying stuff like, Tottenham have never won at home at Wembley. I mean, not only did we just win our first league, maybe they don't watch the Premier League, but we just won our first league game at home this last weekend. And we beat Dortmund in the Champions League. So get your facts right. It was just bad. And they were, whatever. They were clearly on the one side. But let's talk about the goalkeepers. Let's talk about the goalkeepers real quick. There has been maybe one time I can remember where two goalkeepers really showed off their stuff like that. And the game that comes to mind to me, because I'll never forget this game, was Mexico-Brazil in the last World Cup, where Brazil was just bombarding the Mexico goal. Ochoa was blocking everything, and then on quite a few occasions, Mexico would counterattack and force. I forget who was the keeper at the time for Madrid. I don't think it was Julio Cesar anymore. It might have been. But anyway, he was making some phenomenal saves, and he saved Brazil from getting hit on the counter by Mexico, and it ended up being one of the best games I've ever seen. This was very similar because Hugo Lloris and Keylor Navas today showed that they're two of the best in the world. And if I had to say who made the best save, it was a tough one because Lloris's save against Benzema was just incredible. But I don't think he meant to do it. I think he dove and his foot just happened to be in the way. On the other hand, Keylor Navas, his goal, his save against Harry Kane was just unfreaking believable. It was unfreaking believable. I screamed because Harry Kane gets the ball where he got the ball. 10 times out of 10 he scores. There's no one has stopped them yet. And Keylor Navas was the first to do so. And it was a phenomenal save. And my heart, really, just an incredible display by both goalkeepers. Because you have to say Keylor Navas saved Real Madrid. But for Keylor Navas' saves, we win that game. But then you have to flip it around and you say Hugo Lloris saved Tottenham. But for his saves, Real Madrid win this game. It was really just a spectacular display by two goalkeepers that are just genuinely, two of the best. But let's talk about the game itself. I just finished watching it about an hour ago. And I wanted to give myself a little bit of a break between when I saw it and when I started talking about it, because I don't think I could have. I was still breathing hard about 40 minutes ago, still, because the game was just so intense. But I wanted to first talk about the players themselves. Well, first let's talk about the tactics. And I'm not going to talk about Real Madrid's tactics because I don't know what tactics they used. They just lined up and went at it. They just went at it. I think if out of the two managers, if one of them was going to tweak and try to like outthink the other manager, it was going to be Pochettino doing that to Zidane. Because again, if we have to assume that Real Madrid is the best team in the world, and if we're assuming that, that means we were the challengers and we were the ones that were trying to come in and potentially upset them or come up with a game plan that would allow us to negate whatever they were going to do. Because there are certain teams in the world that don't need to, what am I trying to say? Play to the enemy's weakness. They're so good that they line up and then they go. You think of Barcelona of like 7 years ago, when they just dominated the world. They didn't tweak the lineup. Pep Guardiola didn't say, okay, this time we're going to do something different. No, freaking Xavi, Iniesta, give the ball to Messi, game over. And that was all they did. And that's all they had to do. They were that good. And I think Real Madrid is one of those teams that can do such a thing. And there are other teams in the world that are that good that don't really have to really tweak their lineups or strategies depending on their foe. And you have some international teams that do that. And it comes and goes. But right now, I think Madrid is one of those teams, maybe the only team in the world that would have to do that unless it's facing another team of its caliber. And as much as I love Tottenham, we have to admit we're not of their caliber. Although today we showed some stuff, I tell you. But I think Pochettino, when I first saw the lineup, I was like, what is he doing? But you have to say, he got it spot on. He got it absolutely spot on. I didn't really understand the concept of playing Llorente behind Kane. But it worked. I felt he kept him on a little too long. I thought he was going to trade him out for Heung-min Son a little sooner. He ended up trading him out for Danny Rose, which was a shocker. A welcome surprise, in my opinion. But I did think he kept him on a little bit too long. On the other hand, he set up Eriksen with a really nice header. And that was one thing he did very well. He, high balls, he would win the ball, knock them down to Kane or to Eriksen or to Sissoko. And it worked. It's funny because when Pochettino first started at Tottenham, I thought he had no idea what he was doing. And I actually wanted him gone. I was like, we should have never gotten him. We should have gone for, what was his name at the time? He was the manager at the Dutch league. Van der Bauer, the guy that just got fired from Southampton. I think that's who he was. And he was linked with Tottenham. And it was at the time where Louis van Gaal was linked with Tottenham. Frank de Boer? I think that's his name, Frank de Boer. And he was linked, and Louis van Gaal, did Tottenham the biggest favor anyone has ever done Tottenham in the history of the world, and went to United instead. And I was like, all right, well, Frank de Boer. And instead we went with Pochettino, and I was like, Daniel Levy, you moron. And the first few games of Pochettino's reign, I was like, we're going to get relegated, because we're in like the bottom 15. The bottom 5. And wow, I've never been so wrong, and never been so happy to have been so wrong about something soccer related, because Pochettino's been absolutely phenomenal, and he knows what he's doing. That's all I have to say. He knows what he's doing. It was a brilliant tactic. I didn't really understand his 3 at the back. I didn't think he would risk that, but he did. And I think Llorente had a really good game, considering his role. He was never going to be the one that was going to score the goal. He was the one that was going to hold up the play and distribute from the headers or from the long balls or stuff like that, or just maybe score. Maybe he would score from a header or from a set piece. You never know. But I think he did his job phenomenally. I think he did exactly what he was meant to do, and he did it well. And you have to say Harry Kane was, isolated. He had his chances, and anyone that knows Tottenham knows that Harry Kane needs half a chance to score, and he had a couple half chances, and Keylor Navas stopped them. That header in the first half, I couldn't believe he saved that, and much less that other one, the fingertips. It was fingertips. That ball was in. That ball was in the goal. The craziest part, half a foot higher. If he doesn't play that on the ground, if he plays that half a foot higher, that's in the net. Incredible stuff. We always knew that he was gonna be a lonely figure up top, and sure enough, he was. I don't blame him. I don't think he played a bad game. I think he did what he had to do, and one of the best goalkeepers kept him out. I think Eriksson was a bit quiet, and I think it had to do with, and I was a little surprised that, I think this is one of the few tactical things that Real Madrid actually did, but Christian Eriksen was pretty much man-marked by Luka Modric the entire game. And to me, that was kind of surprising, because I don't know what Zidane's coaching philosophy is. I don't know how he coaches. People think he's brilliant because they've won, but I think he's as brilliant as Pep Guardiola was with Barcelona. You just kind of put the players out and they kind of win it for you. I don't think he's that smart. I don't think he's that clever. I don't think he's that good. Maybe he is. Maybe he's brilliant. I have no idea. But I thought it was interesting that he made that decision for two reasons. First of all, I never really remember Modric being good defending. And second of all, I didn't really think that... we all know, watching the Premier League and watching Tottenham specifically, we all know how good Christian Eriksen is. But I didn't think Zidane respected him in that way. I think having Luka Modric man-mark him showed that Zidane considered Christian Eriksen our most dangerous player. Obviously, everyone knows Harry Kane, but he considered Christian Eriksen to be our most dangerous player to the extent that he had his best midfielder cover him pretty much the entire game, which really kind of shut us down. So kudos to him for thinking like that. And I have to say, he didn't have a bad game, but he was covered and he was kept quiet by Luka, unfortunately, because I hate Luka Modric with a passion. On the other hand, the last two games he's played, even though he only played only like 10 minutes of the last game, and Sissoko had a really good game. I hate to say it because I don't know what's gotten into him. I like it, but he had a really good game. He had I can't really think of any time where I was like, frickin' Sissoko, or anything like that. He had some good plays. He made good runs. He defended well. He had a couple strong tackles that I liked. I've always thought him as a bit too soft. I feel like he needs to use his raw power more often, and he did. He made a couple of really good runs. I was really pleased with him. I was happy with the job he did. As far as Harry Winks, I don't want to say he was the MVP of our game, but he played such a good game. And there were times where I was really nervous that he was going to give the ball away. But he didn't. He played really well. He kept the ball. He made good passes. My only criticism, and I criticized him before, he makes too many backwards passes. And I guess in this game it wasn't really that surprising. Or, you could have expected him to make every forward pass ever this particular game against this particular opponent. But he kept the ball. There was one moment I won't forget where Cristiano Ronaldo got the ball he got the ball with his back to our goal, and Winks just came up to him and like pushed him back. Was like hitting his ankles a little bit, and then Cristiano Ronaldo had to get rid of the ball, and Cristiano Ronaldo turned around and stared at him in the face, and I was like, that's my boy Winks. I like that. I like that a lot. It made me really happy to see him not be intimidated by that guy. Let's see. I'm trying to think of everyone who was on the field. Okay, let's. So then was Vertonghen on the left. I think Vertonghen did a good job. I forget the kid's name, the Turkish kid. I think he's from Turkey. Um, they kept attacking Vertonghen, and I guess they expected the other kid to be just faster than him. But Vertonghen's a veteran defender. He's not gonna get sucked into those kinds of plays. I think he had a really good game. He didn't threaten going forward, which I mean that was expected, I guess. But I think he had a really good game. Davinson Sanchez had a really fantastic game. I think he defended really well. Didn't make any mistakes. He even had a couple of times where he came out of the back and dribbled past a couple defenders. When a defender does that, not defenders, but he dribbled past a couple of forwards and midfielders. And when a defender does that, it kind of opens up other players because like, oh crap, a defender's getting through, and then they throw another guy at him, and then it opened up REA on the left, on the right, or Vertonghen on the left or something. And I think he had a really good game. I think Alderweireld had a good game. He didn't really make any mistakes. He was solid at the back. And I think REA had a really good game too. He shut down Marcelo. He did his job. Marcelo likes to go forward, and he shut him down. Obviously, he's the reason we tied. It's hard to fault him in the heat of the moment. I mean, Alderweireld got there. Tony Cruz had the ball, and he was dribbling through the box. And Alderweireld was going to get there, but REA decided to go in for the tackle. Am I mad at him for it? It's easy to say yes now, but I don't think I was mad at him at the time, because I think I think he just did what he thought he could do, and I don't know why he didn't go in with his left. I don't know why he went in with both feet. That was kind of stupid. Part of me kind of like, Lloris is going to stop this. I don't know. There was parts of the game where I was like, we are destined for this, but whatever. I honestly think he had a really good game, especially going forward. My favorite part in the game was when he gave the ball to Sissoko. Sissoko gave him a little 1-2, left Marcelo in the dust, and then self-passed it to himself and just ran around Sergio Ramos. And just, if only that had led to something, that would have been like one of the most spectacular plays of this season's Champions League. I think that would have been just phenomenal. And finally, Eric Dyer. I think Dyer, again, performed admirably. Aside from Eriksen, I don't think there was a player that had a bad game, and I don't think it was Eriksen's fault. It's not like he had a bad game. I think he was just marked out of the game. So aside from Eriksen, I would give everyone really high ratings. I don't think we could have played any better other than not giving away that penalty kick. I just genuinely don't see how, I think maybe we could have kept the ball a little bit. I think we could have been maybe a little more adventurous. I know we were scared of the counterattack. I know they're very fast and they can hit us really hard and really quickly. But I think with those three at the back, Dyer, Sanchez, and Alderweireld, or if you want to call it, you want to call it 5 at the back or 3 at the back or 4 at the back with Dyer in the middle. I think in the end it just ended up being 3 at the back with REA and Vertonghen more like wingbacks than anything. But whatever you call it, I don't see how with what we had available we could have done any better. I think it was a perfect game for us, minus the penalty kick, and I think we could have easily won it, and we could have easily lost it. But I'm more than pleased with the result. it was just really, really good. That's really all I have to say. We did really, really well. Um, it was really nice to see Danny Rose playing again. And I was afraid that when he came out, he was going to be slow and stuff and just like immediately get beat off the dribble and we would lose. Not because he's bad, but because he hasn't played for a while and he's slow. He looked a little chunky. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it's just the purple. Maybe, whatever. But I think I'm really excited that this is what we did at the biggest stage we've ever done it at. You know, we came out and we played them and we could have beaten them. And we stopped them from beating us. And we kept our heads. Nobody got carded. Well, Aria got carded for the maybe mouthing off because I don't think he was going to get a card for the tackle. But whatever. And nobody got hurt. I don't think Sissoko got hurt. I think he was just tired. Nobody got hurt. Everyone came in. Danny Rose is back. Lloris had a wonderful game, and yeah, I like I said, I don't know what else to say other than well done, well done. And in conclusion, phenomenal. That's it. I was really happy. I was really, really happy with the result. I am still really happy with the result. And with Dortmund and Apoel tying 1-1, we're through. I mean, we have 2 games left. No, we don't. We have 3 games left. So it's still possible. Yeah, it's still possible. We host Madrid at Wembley, where apparently we've never won before. So that's going to be an interesting one. But everything is as it was, if you will, especially because the Dortmund Apoel game ended exactly like we needed. We needed one team to not win, and that's exactly what happened. So with that, I think we're at 7 points. Madrid are exactly at the same exact points with the same goal differential. And Dortmund and Apoel are, again, exactly the same points, exactly the same goal differential with 1 point. So we're 6 points apart. So we would have to just completely poop ourselves to not make it. This is good. This is really good. So that's it. I just wanted to give a quick rundown of the game while it was still fresh in my mind. By the way, amazing Liverpool. I didn't see the game as at work. I was at work all day. I actually ended up watching the Tottenham game recorded, and I threw my phone in my pocket. I didn't look at it all day because I didn't want any text messages. But when the Tottenham game finally ended, I immediately checked all the other scores. Freaking 7-0. Amazing. Well done, Liverpool. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one. And yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.